That's a
Would you
tune.
Rastafari? Truly, honor and respect to Von Benjamin. And give thanks for the holy utterances and the healing. Because, that's really what this comes to, is how all these lives are intertwined. The good, the bad, the ugly, the animals, the birds, the insects, the fish. And being mindful that even each other's pain is our pain, each other's healing is our healing. When the world smiles, or when you smile, the world smiles with you. And when you cry, you don't cry alone. So we have to reverse some of these psychologies and show that intention and meditation and energy, synergy, and the way we collectively care about restorative justice rather than passing responsibility to so-called authorities. So we have a duty, and that duty is to remember our interconnectedness, that oneness. So it's a mystic time. I give thanks for this day to be able to be healing. Like, healing isn't something you get done with. It's a process. And you can still heal others while you're healing. You don't have to wait till you're healed. Likewise, forgiveness takes time too. It's something you have to say to yourself every day. You can't just forgive once and move on. And it's hard.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I think healing can be abrasive, right?
Real
Very
abrasive.
abrasive, but I like that, We need to be there for each other.
And it's a serious thing because there's almost a corniness that goes on in the suggestions of positive behavior. One love can sound almost empty when ones don't understand one or love, and they don't realize how difficult one love really is. So, shall we get in it? You ready to get dirty?
I'm ready. Like I was telling you before we started this, I've been waiting for this for too long, man. Where do we start? I want to ask this: is it more paint these days, or is it more music? What do you find yourself, right, just really immersing yourself in these days more?
Because I'm an artist, painting is nonstop. I try and paint 8 hours a day. It doesn't happen every day, but it's something where that's my job. And so and then it's what I do for when I get off work. And then it's what I do for fun. It's what I do when I'm bored. It's what I'm doing when I'm angry. So it seems to keep coming back to art. I can't get away from painting. And in fact, that's why it's got to be a joy ting, not a painting. Because again, it's about hold your joy, And the music is coming along well. I've got a bunch of new tunes, and my whole energy's changing. So I'm realizing the difference between a love song versus a song for a woman. I think I've been singing for men and maybe for a warrior spirit for a long time and haven't really slowed down to actually make a song in the way that I would talk to a woman rather than everybody.
Yeah, wasn't it me and you? We were talking about that one day, and I think you were talking about a song having a gender.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that wild? And I thought about it, and I was like, this is wild. Right? I gotta relook at the music that I liked. Right? And I was like, so yeah, I love it. Right? I think the music is very much the painting for you. Right? There's levels. There's depth. Right? And I think I was around years ago, right, before you were even putting out any music, and we were watching you make some music and some harmony and some rhythm, you say.
Yeah, just learning.
And the talent was always there, right? I think we all seen it, right? Me, Dre-Z, right, Cali, and now it's just a given, right? You're on the lineup.
Right on.
So I love it.
And thank you so much for your help on the Strategy album. Both music videos are really good. And there's a lot hidden in it. There's a lot of subtleness. And I always feel that when you're filming, you're also looking at what creator and creation are saying in unison. There's a level of the unspoken, invisible visibleness of a moment none of us would have found that interesting, but you said no. There's value there. I got something from that. I feel something from that. And it's nice because it's sometimes we make stuff that we don't understand how other people feel. And then when I slow down and look through your eyes, I get a different appreciation. And I think that the more we slow down and look through each other's eyes, and imagine we can't actually do that, but if none of us know how important or amazing we are, because we live with us, but to other people, we are all much more interesting and beautiful than we probably are to ourselves. And that's something that maybe we should like slow down and realize you will never understand how amazing you are. You can't comprehend it anyway. So the essence of trying to like grasp that no matter how insignificant you may feel, somebody thinks you're very significant. To somebody else, you might be the calm in the storm. Your smile changed their day. Your kind words altered their reality so they could get through and speak something kind to someone else. It's all intertwined. Like these are ripples, I love the way that Vaughn talked about the flamingos flying 10,000 at a time or hundreds of thousands at a time. They understand how to move together, that it's not individuality, but it's collective security. And that's why it gets into a greater point where it's not a corny thing. One love isn't a reason to distract ourselves from the problems that exist. But we can't define ourselves by our pain. And too many of us are ruled by our pain and our past, instead of realizing who we are is much bigger than that. And if we live in that, we deny life itself and who we truly are to be and are supposed to be. And this is a time where there's a lot of suffering going on. And to break out of that cycle of living in guilt, shame, pain, living in regret, sorrow, and even feeling collective debt. A lot of us see family and friends and others that maybe we don't know, but we relate to, suffering in different countries. And sometimes it's like we don't watch, we feel guilty because it's like the least we can do is watch. But there is so much trauma and so much pain a human being can take before they're going to need a break or their mind's going to break. And what good are you then? So I'm healing right now from a broken mind, from seeing too much shit. And it's like time for an enema.
Well, I was gonna ask you about that, touching on the calm in the storm, right? Are you the calm in the storm, or are you the storm?
Both. A whirlwind comes with calm,
right? Because we have seen you here recently, right? And I think it's all part of a sophisticated approach, right? It's not without intent, right? And I want to say that first, right? But you've definitely expressed yourself, right, heavily recently.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Right? Because I think before, right, I think you were definitely a little more recluse, right? I mean, you let the art speak for itself, and it did, right? We were all there. We clearly are all looking. We're listening. But then now we got Ras 2.0. Let's talk about Ras 2.0. Yeah, I mean, we're doing live shows. We're doing comedy skits, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing different art. We're approaching art differently. I want to talk to you about that too, So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Ras 2.0.
My Lord, you're funny. All right. Well, Ras 2.0 is definitely not a comedian. Spiritual satire, yeah, because we should be laughing. God is actually the greatest comedian. But when it comes down to truth, I'm not here to jester, but still so. Let's talk about the jester. A lot of people think when you got eyes on you and the king's watching you and the queen's watching you, that you should be acting in a particular manner. But the jester is very close to the king and queen. And a lot of times people think he's making jokes when they're actually very calculated points. And the people around the jester are very close and also watched by the king and queen. There's a power, an underestimation of humor. The ability to cut through with a song or with a parable or a poem. And so there's a level of like being sweet and gentle, humorous, entertaining. And then there's the next level, which is fuck all of you. And fuck all y'all, period. You think I give a shit? Like, you think I come to impress you, entertain you? Do you think the prophets of old were entertainers, comedians? No. You know, I come to bring respect to my creator, and it's only to him that is the one I care about, his judgment. So there's a level of like having to break free. And that includes even like how we speak, right? Like censorship's a real fucking issue. Like if I have to second guess everything I think in order to make it politically correct, it's gonna make me a bumbling idiot. There's a lot of levels of understanding consideration, but there's also a level of like being an outlaw. I'm not here to play into your systematic, hypocritical, dogmatic, institutional, mainstream, conservative, Puritan, boring bullshit. I'm not into it. I haven't been into it in a long time. Rasta ain't been into their food, ain't been into their holidays, ain't been into, but into their schools. But now let's go into their schools. Let's go into their holidays. And let's not be an asshole for a change. So that's also something I'm working on, is how not to walk into situations with scorn and reproach. Because I can see how, like, sometimes, like, those that you think are good are bad, and those you think are bad are good. And perhaps we should stop thinking so fucking much. And that, like, what you think you know, you don't, and what you can know is real limited. Like, no, that's a real bold statement. You think you can know somebody, know something? Yeah, I know him. You don't know shit, and you don't know me. And all these people going to learn. Guess what? I'm expanding because love expands. And I'm going to love more. I'm going to grow more. I'm going to take care of myself more. I'm going to paint more because it's be more, not be less. So this whole be less thing might have to change too. Might have to go to be more,
Yeah, no, I like it. I think, letting go gives you a form of empowerment to grow, right? It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's right? It's kind of like allowing a pot to have more oxygen, right?
Yeah, man.
Allowing those roots just to breathe,
Exactly.
man, and find more, right? Just opportunity.
Exactly.
So I love it, man. I love it. And I wanted to tell you that. I love Ross 2.0. Don't think I was trying to put you on the spot, but we're always watching each other, right? and we care for each other. I mean, we care for you. You know that. I mean, me and Charles X were talking about you, right, the other day, and we had good things to say, and he was like, "That's my brother." We might, go through this, or he's going through this, I'm going through that, right? But in the end of the day, right, we're family,
Exactly.
And that's important.
It is important. And again, not take yourself so seriously that you can't listen. It's good to have those who have different opinions. I love seeing people who are different, and it's amazing how common, like, the love of the Creator is, the importance and the need of faith. And, there's a whole huge world out there. And we're the ones who put ourselves in bondage. We are scared to talk to people. We're scared to get to know people we don't, like, recognize. They don't look like us. They don't dress like us. They're not the same age as us. All this is horseshit. Like, throw it in the trash. Talk to somebody you never would have talked to before. And try and see that there's a new friend waiting for you if you're willing to go on a limb and take a risk. And maybe your life will change. There's nothing that's accidental. We're not here to enjoy one destiny if you deny your destiny. You really don't make your own destiny. Your destiny's set. You either embrace it or you don't. And if you don't, you miss out. And there's something really beautiful about realizing everybody who comes along your way ain't an accident. Every bird singing to you is saying something. Every feeling you have has a reason behind it. And so does other people's feelings. So stop dismissing the entire world and open up. It's a beautiful day outside. Smell some flowers like Charles X used to. He used to go to work all the fucking time. We'd take him to work. And this dude would not get to work because he wanted to smell the flowers on the way down the road. And by the time we got halfway, he wanted to sleep in the flowers. And we're like, yo, we haven't even got to the job site yet. He's just like, these flowers are amazing. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Fuck the job. The job's like, have you seen the flowers?
Yeah.
Time for a nap.
Man, you already know, my favorite story was when Charles surprised you in Puerto Rico. Remember that? Was it Puerto Rico,
It was
right?
Puerto
And,
Rico.
and
Yep.
he was like, I'm here. Let's cut down a banana tree.
I couldn't believe it when he actually showed up at the
Yeah.
airport. I'm like, he really did come.
Legend.
He is a
Legendary.
legend.
And,
He's a
and
legend.
legendary on you, too, for just like, let's do it. Right? Let's go do
Let's
this.
do
right?
it. Let's
Like you
cut
were-
banana trees all day, nigga. Let's
Oh,
go.
man, I love that. And it was so cool. It's like, you're on one side of the country, he's on the other. He's leaving Europe, right? Doing his 3-month tour, right? With his band out there and stuff. And then you guys out there to cut down a banana tree. That's life.
Everyone needs to. It's anger management. Have you ever cut down a banana tree?
No, man, no. I didn't even know that they were picked like that. I didn't know that, right? You pick it, you cut the whole tree down, right?
Yep.
Every season, and then a whole tree grows back.
Every 9 months, boom, you got a brand new tree with baby bananas.
And then there's different color bananas,
Yeah,
right?
I love bananas.
Red bananas, purple bananas, yellow bananas. I'm surprised Dre Z doesn't have some purple bananas, right? That guy, man.
It's funny. I saw banana trees growing in Oregon. I didn't know they could grow in Oregon. They don't fruit, but they grow.
But they grow.
Yeah. I was like, this is amazing. It's an added positive. But the dope thing about banana trees is if you got a good machete, you can cut the whole tree down one swoop.
They're
One
that
time.
soft. Really?
They're
The
so
stalk's
soft. And
just
they're
brittle.
hollow. So and you just think you're so strong. Anybody who knocks a tree down in one swoop, like their confidence goes up. So I gave my son one, he was like 14, a machete. And I was like, get him. And it was like watching a whole plethora of trees falling different directions, and he's everywhere.
I guess it makes sense, right? Everything's soaking up water there. So
Yeah.
everything's just literally water. It's water scan, water this, right? Or empty, designed to just absorb water, right? Fast.
And to empty itself,
And empty itself, yeah.
So it's interesting. It takes a coconut 9 months to develop. It takes a banana tree 9 months to go from from being a small banana tree to grown banana tree and being able to give you bananas. So when I start seeing that internal and that reflection of gestation, it makes me think of the woman and her, commonality with the earth
Yes.
and her rhythms, especially a coconut water, because that's so pure. You can
Yeah.
use that just for IV. You done seen MASH and all that.
That H3O they call it, right? H3O.
H3O.
I guess, right? What is that? Water made by fruits, right? And vegetables, sort of, right?
I never heard it before. Respect.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah, I heard some saying that they were saying H3O, right? And I guess it's the water that's right. You take in from a vegetable or from a fruit, right? They do. It does something to it, right? Makes it super water. So
It's amazing. I'm looking at this painting because I don't want to go off of it too fast. Because it's these are all real people in here. I'm not going to say who everybody is, and some of them are more spiritually there. But they're symbolic of family holding friends that are holding partners that are holding me, or families that have grown, even some without families. People that are here, people who have moved forward. And see how everybody's in the emperor's cloak, because we're all in that. And I also wanted to make the way you see how everybody's holding each other. Everyone holds each other almost like a web or birds flying too, where their hands show that continuity, each hand doing a different thing, touching in its right way, creating its own beam of healing energy. But also the people who just go into infinity. It's not like a lot of people, but the impression is to make it go on, because we're all being held. And that's how we get through a lot of our problems, is to realize we're loved, we are love, and, be love. So I want to give thanks to all the people that have helped love me, from beginning, from before beginning. Those I know, those I don't. And especially to the women and the energy of the feminine, because even on a battlefield, if a soldier falls, of course he wants to be rescued, but when he goes to the hospital, he's going to probably want a female nurse. There's a certain level of a touch a woman can give that a man cannot. And so that's part of the reason why I've got all these females touching the Rasta man. You know,
Hey, that's a good thing.
it's a great thing. And it's a way to destroy torment, because again, it's something where like we all get ripped apart. Like when you listen to the beginning of the song, when Vaughn's singing about, when it feels like everything is coming down on you, when it's like you're in a bind in your heart, where you're confused and you're trying to figure out how to get out of this now, So there's a certain level of like even the way the lion sits. The lion sits there waiting for him to get up. He ain't sitting there judging him. He ain't sitting there angry. He ain't roaring at the nigga being like, get up. He's like, when you're ready, I'm ready. And I'm watching. My eyes are on thee. And his peace, his pleasantness coming from the lion. Just like his majesty isn't looking at anybody. He's looking beyond. He looks at everybody and yet no one at all. His vision is one, far-sighted, not near. But yet nothing is out of his vision or his reach. And he has his own job and position. He holds the earth and he holds the scepter. He is the lawgiver and he is earth's rightful ruler. So, his place and even those who stand behind him, who's there helping him? And that's why you have the priests and the symbolicness of the umbrella, So Ethiopia, and all of this holds up the emperor, She stands with him.
It's beautiful, man.
Blessed. Well, I'm looking forward to working on artwork more with Brianna. She's taught me a lot and makes me look at art differently. And we're going to come out with a whole new style of art. And it's going to be impressionism, abstract, with showing like a power of male and female together. Like trying to actually like make sure that's part of the story. It's not an imbalance, but more of a perfect balance with a mix of sensuality. So there's a certain level of showing how to create together in harmony. So as an example, like how do I make myself not the center? How do I make sure that she is complemented in her ways and that there's a certain level of moving with her stroke and her movements and flow, understanding how she chooses her colors, not try and dictate, not trying to make something that doesn't flow in entirety. Silent ways of communicating. And then let's try and have some extra fun, shall we? Why not?
Why not? Comes with the territory, right?
Yeah. So what kind of fun, Brianna, do you look forward to getting into in the art world, and different ideas, and processes, creative ways? Like the way you look at art is very unique.
Mm-hmm. From this painting, I see a connection these people have with the earth here and with the trees, and I see different personalities that come out of the trees, and I really like that.
I love that trees are supposed to be people. Like when you're painting trees, imagine people dancing.
Yeah, like they almost instill some type of motion, right,
Yes.
in the painting that it gives you a motion and stillness.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Every one of these trees look like someone dancing.
I love it when I'm over at your house and I'm watching you work. Like I'll go over to this guy's house, right, and come on in, right? Come in, right? And this guy's on the floor, and he's got paint everywhere, and he'll be like, "Back up, this is the part." What, right? And then he'll start splashing paint, right? And I'm like, what? And then he adds these light streaks, right? Mm-hmm. And then it all comes together and you're like, oh my God, that was the guitar strings blasting off like, right? Frequencies like that are, the painting's amazing, Ross. The work's amazing.
I love it. We got so much more. And
we do got the elephant. I don't know if we get the elephant scene back here, but we do got the elephant of Ross's back here. Got the painting. We'll have to show more. We'll have to get more in here,
Well, I can even make sure you get a few extra pictures so you could just kind of run it through the interview and have a few pictures, flying around. And, this is an exciting thing because word, sound, and power is important because people get things lost in translation, and it's hard enough just to speak clearly and slowly and still be understood. That we're in the place where it's not just double speak, but we're watching where, like, the lack of cooperation and interest makes it so there's a manipulation in order to try and explain someone or something away. Not explain it, dismiss it. And that's one of my big issues with the left and the right, is that no one's giving equality a chance. And, reality are both fucking stupid as shit. So, like, it takes humility to actually realize, like, the system itself is broken. Democracy is not reality. I challenge anyone to show me a democracy anywhere on this planet. It's a theory. It's a great idea. It's ideology. It's not history. It's not how things change. It's not how things were made. It's not how things will be destroyed. It's not how things will be rebuilt. So there comes a point in which we have to actually consciously say, I'm not buying this horseshit. And I'd suggest you don't buy it, because you'll make yourself miserable seeing no solutions from the same idiots. So.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, right? I think it's the narrative at this point has been overplayed, right? I think everyone's starting to see through it. And at this point, it's time to make change with action.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Like
how you eat, right? How you eat, where you spend your money, right? You're always telling us this. You know that. I get it every time from Ross, right? You are eating the worst shit, right? And and you're right. We need to reevaluate it all.
We really do. And my mind goes into some strange places because extremes are hilarious. In fact, let's go there. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right.
We're there.
Not every Nazi is a fucking idiot. Yep. Sometimes Nazis can be right, too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Now, they're humans. That's why they can be right. A broken clock is fucking right twice a day, okay? Even Trump is right sometimes. I mean, they're fucking humans. Just like if you're on this whole left thing, transgender people can be wrong, So there's certain levels of understanding. Look at these things and let's slow this shit down. And I can say, from experience of somebody who's actually had to shower and be naked with a Nazi, that they're human, all right? I've been locked up. I've been around these white supremacist motherfuckers. And guess what? They're human, all right? I was with one guy and he was covered in fucking mace with a big swastika in my face. 15 black people, a couple Mexicans in there, and him, one white dude, big swastika in my face. And it was only a matter of time before someone was going to ask him, you really hate black people? And he looked at us and said, I hate everybody, especially myself. And that's when it was time to say I understand, and that's when we all gave him a hug. Because that's something I can understand too. They're humans, all right? There are certain sociological issues in this world, and nobody wants to see anybody encourage war, genocide, destruction. But if I equate and kind of like show like how countless people have been behind genocide, including people you probably know in this country, probably some of the forefathers of this country that we celebrate all the time. But do we throw them out and just say they're just monsters? Or that they have a twisted fucking perspective of the world? Now, there are certain things when it comes down to the history of His Imperial Majesty in which things are coming out, in which are important and relative. Okay? One of them is that Adolf Hitler helped Haile Selassie with weapons when Mussolini started to invade Ethiopia. His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie writes about it in his autobiography. The context is to understand the years that are going on. That this was before there was any concentration camps, that we were having mustard gas dropped on us and every man, woman, child, and animal, lake and river and blade of grass being poisoned against pre-existing conventions against mustard gas. And Ethiopia suffered this. She also refused help from Hitler. And that was because Hitler only really wanted to see more war. And it doesn't look good if there is a one side with no weapons and the other side with an army of airplanes dropping mustard gas. And Hitler planned to work with Mussolini, was working with Mussolini, and wanted Ethiopia taken out. So just because someone's trying to help you doesn't mean they actually care about you. And then on top of that, there were some very good Nazis that helped. There's a famous scene, it's world famous even, of Haile Selassie on a Gatling gun, shooting down airplanes, dropping mustard gas on the Red Cross. You can see it on YouTube. Remind you of anything? Anyway, that these airplanes were dropping bombs and gas on sick people in hospitals. And he came out there, sat down, and started shooting airplanes out of the air by himself. But what was happening in the tent was that there was 2 Nazi doctors who were working on an Ethiopian. And if they slipped for 1 second, the guy's going to die. They kept that surgery and operation going, and they didn't miss 1 second. They were on point, and they're celebrated. People hid that they were Nazis in article after article, but these doctors were celebrated. A lot of people were put into the Nazi army against their will. They didn't want to be in it, you know. They lost family members, you know, but because Hitler said, "Oh, you're handicapped, you're slow, we don't want you." This is all part of like understanding war, and that could be inclusive of this country, and how people are forced to join the military because there's no jobs around, or maybe they want to get like a U.S. citizenship. Maybe it's a way of avoiding prison. There's a lot of ways the United States government manipulates people into war. And this is no different. Fascism is fascism. And we've seen this in history in the past. And now we're watching it again. So I also want people to realize that evil and good exist in everyone. And I believe in good will win. I believe that it is natural that good will overcome, that we are born to do right innately, you know? And so it's something where when we recognize that we have both the ability to create more than we can imagine and be more destructive than we can imagine, and that we start seeing the God in us, and perhaps even that which is less than that. So, you know, we have to consciously get the devil out from under our skin.
Yeah, man. I think that's that invisible war, right, that we talk about. And I think now more than ever, right, the spiritual war is upon us, you know, with like we talk with AI and with advanced technology and where we're going with big corps and, right, food and beliefs. I think now's the time to be honest with ourselves. And that's how we're going to start to fix, right? The abrasive way.
Yeah.
Being honest with yourself is an abrasive way, man. Let me tell you, man. Oh, man.
What have you had to do to be honest with yourself recently?
Oh, man. Jeez. Looking at myself on these podcasts, right? Going through anxiety, right? Not sure of the future.
Right.
Talking to G-Man about my sons growing up. I know you've had sons grow up, right?
Yeah.
Seen past versions of themselves go, new versions of themselves come.
Right.
Change, man. You know, I think it's just as exciting, and it's right a good thing as it can be scary. You know, but that's my life right now. You know, is just embracing the change, embracing life. You know,
I'm proud of you. This is a nice setup. I think that you guys got a good future. I'm looking forward to more podcasts here, and I think that we're gonna have a lot of good subjects. That was just a little one. It's kind of hot. You probably see if some motherfucker, one motherfucker decides just take that 5 seconds right there of him saying, you know, sometimes Nazis are right. Like just that 1 second, right? And that could fuck you up, right?
Yeah,
so it's all about context. What I'm trying to say is humans are humans, right? And I hope that gets across. Like even you've seen me get upset. I tell people stop checking my words, listen to my message. All right, it's the message, idiot. Like I'm going to mess up words, but I really do think that we have an issue of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. And it's happening in relationships. It's happening like in like the way that even our parents like may say something or don't say something. You know, that there's a certain level of not caring enough. Like open your love capacity and build on it, because it's righteousness that we're seeking, and it's righteousness that's going to heal the world, and it's innate. Like it's more natural for you to say yes than no, and that's because there's a desire within you to cooperate. It's something humans have that other animals don't. We find something cool, we want to tell somebody. The other animals are not like that. There's no like rabbit being like, I need to save all rabbits from these fucking people with guns. Like there's not a collective messiah for deer. You know what I mean? Like I'm serious.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's only man that has fire. It's only man that has that ability to say, I can really help the earth like become better, or I can really fuck this place up. You know? Infinite power, infinite potential, infinite idiocy. So we have to get past the acknowledging or thinking we know so much. That's the ironic part. When we accept we have a beginner's mind or a mind of a child, when we love that which is naive, when we embrace that which is native and innocence, we will find value in it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you reminded me that the other day, right? We were talking, and you know, he was telling me that you know, everybody's so hard on trying to find their place. Remember? But nobody wants to fill the holes, right? It's like you want to do something, then do it, right? Don't no. Don't look for compensation. If you really love something and you want to do that, go fill those holes, right? If you want to fix potholes and you want to be the best at it, we'll use that, right? As an example.
Yep.
Fill those potholes, and eventually someone's going to see all those potholes filled, and they're going to ask, who did that? Who did that? And you know what? We need them.
That's right. Do the work and watch what happens.
Yes.
You know, it's like God sees, and more than God, trust me. But if God sees alone, you're good. You know, and God sees everything. So it's about do good for goodness sake. Like I have a problem with people in the Christian church, like being like, if you ask for forgiveness and you have Jesus in your life, you're going to heaven, no matter what. You know, or if you don't believe, you're going to hell. And it's like, so people are sitting there going, even like, I should do good so I can get to heaven. This is not why you do good. Like, that's called a reward, like, type of, like, squid pro quo. I know it's not squid, but fucking, you know, it sounds better than quid. But, you know, it's a certain thing where it's like you do good for goodness sake. You don't do good for what you get back, you know? And it's the same thing. Just because you think you're saved, you know, it doesn't mean that, like, you ain't accountable. Everybody will pay for their actions. No one is going to save you from the judgment. You know, Christ is there, and it's important to have the humility to realize that because he loves us, because God loves us, he takes the time to sit with us, to teach us, do not fear death, because otherwise you're never alive. Anyone can push you around. It's not until you know something worth dying for that you're actually alive. And if you haven't found something worth standing up for around here, and even dying for, probably not really appreciative of in what you got. You know, children, you should be willing to die for them, and therefore you live for them. You know, it's even like peace. Like when I'm prepared for war, I feel pretty peaceful. You know, if I'm not prepared, then how at ease can I be surrounded by dis-ease? You know? So that's where I'm at.
I love it. I love it. We were just talking about that too. Me and my nephew, actually, we were talking about how that's huge, right? Breaking that frequency, right? Being comfortable with being on that off frequency and making it the new frequency, right? You got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions, right? In order to grow. And that's it. I think that's what it comes down to. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions. Well, Mike Tyson said it best, right? Find out what you hate, do it, and do it till you love it.
That's right.
What? Right?
Yep.
What?
That's
when
right.
I heard that, I was like, oh, he figured it out.
Yep.
Whatever you're scared of, whatever you hate,
Jump right
figure
in.
out how to love it.
That's
Jump
right.
into it.
Run right into it. Absolutely.
Ross? I want to end it right there. Thank
Cool.
you so much, dude, for coming out, talking with us. We're going to have you back.
Looking
We got to
forward
have
to
you
it.
back. I want to have you back with some of the brethren, though.
I want to be back with more women. I want to hear about Brianna and what she's planning for us, because she is a creative, like, artist. She's going to make me paint ways you've never seen. Get ready. All right, we're talking feet, hands, lips. I'm going to start kissing these canvases, baby. I hope you're ready.
Okay.
I'm going to start showing more love you ever seen. All right, get ready. Whole painting's done with kisses. How about that?
Painting's done with love.
Pure love.
Pure love. Ras Elijah, Lucas, The City Productions, 8688 Studios. We're out.
Peace.
Bye.
Awesome. G-Man?